Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Melissa and Chris are between northern Arizona and Utah, Nevada. They're visiting friends and family, helping take care of some stuff. So, estoy aquí. Let's see. Before, anyone new to meditation, brand new first time? Ah, fantastic. How'd you find out about us?
My friend Jen.
All right. Thanks to the friend Jen. Anyone else?
Same.
Oh, okay. Friend Jen. All right. Very good. Anyone else that you've meditated before but first time here? No. Okay. All right. Well, welcome. So, Melissa and I were talking about this, and it's kind of odd because now I get the first Tuesday of July, and it's the new theme. The theme is Ignite. And if you get a chance, go and grab a calendar on your way out here. But it is interesting, we were kind of talking, and I was thinking about, there's so many different directions, ways that you could go with this. In the past, we had a lot of themes based upon reflection, observation, and it's interesting, right? Because there's this idea of, okay, in theory, I've cultivated some awareness about certain aspects of my life. Hopefully, the idea is if you've been progressively going through this. Don't worry if it's been a while and you're coming back though too. And then we now get to this next phase where you say, okay, where would I like my intention to be, right? And intentionality, and we the focus of that. When I was leading this a couple months ago, or was it 2 months ago, last time it was that I covered meditation, we talked about reflection as it relates to intentionality, right? And how in many ways reflection has to be the thing you start with, because often we don't have clarity yet on the things that we want to focus on, right? And so people say, oh, your intention's everything. It's like, yeah, but that's why I always go back to the question needs to be really clear, right, at the beginning, because it's almost like the genie in the lamp, right? You get what you ask for, and that was all you got. And so not what you thought you were going to get from it, but literally what you asked. So in some sense, you want to be very clear about that. So with that being said, I thought tonight we'll go through a bit of a meditation focusing on the aspects of ourselves that we would like to develop and cultivate a little bit more, as we are now also going into the second half of the year, right? We're officially 6 months into the year, and now we're starting into the second 6 months of the year. Also a great time to think back on New Year's resolutions and the things that we thought about, right? I will just say this last thing. It's interesting because when I do self-hypnosis workshops, one of the things that people often bring up that they would like to do with self-hypnosis is they'll just say, I want to be less reactive, or I want to feel more calm. And I always say, great. And it is, but often when you do self-hypnosis, in the beginning we focus on small things, right? And then you can gradually work up to the bigger thing and the bigger thing. And one thing I'm spending a lot of time doing is formulating goals with people in the self-hypnosis workshop. I mean, I do hypnosis on them too for a long period of time. But one of the things that we focus on is, okay, well specifically, like if that's your vision, right? What's the specific thing that you see yourself doing or not doing? Sometimes I always feel like the not reacting one's a hard one because it's like, it's the absence of something. It's much easier to visualize or envision what it is you would like to be doing, right? And so starting with that. Anyway, all that to say, kind of encourage you as we go through this meditation, think about the attributes and things that you would like to be living and going through, and envision what that looks like in your day-to-day interactions. So, all right. Couple of options here. Option number one, and Wendy, you can leave the door open. Let's leave the door open if just get some air circulation. Hands can either be on the knees or thumb and index finger in chin mudra. If anyone wants to lay down, you guys have the option today. I'll give that to you. But just make sure, if you do it, have a bolster underneath you to kind of prop up your legs so you don't drift off too far. And let's dim the lights ever so slightly. course, one extra option, hands can be together, or if you would like, right hand can be underneath left. If you're male, I had to think about that, left under right for female. All right, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax. Another deep breath in. Exhale, going deeper. One more deep breath in. Exhale, relaxing and going deeper. Drawing attention to the body. Start at the forehead and slowly begin to bring our attention all the way down. And as you're sitting there quietly, if you notice any discomfort in the body, just begin by acknowledging it. But trying, if you can, to relax. So starting now at the forehead, just relaxing the forehead, making it limp, loose, removing any tension. And feeling that sensation of relaxation spreading from the forehead to the eyebrows. From the eyebrows to the eyelids and eye muscles. Just making them limp, loose, and completely relaxed. And beginning to relax the nose, tip of the nose, cheeks, cheekbones, the upper lip, lower lip, the jaw. And as you begin to relax the jaw, just allow the softest of smiles to come over your lips. From the jaw to the chin, throat, neck, back of the neck, back of the head, the ears, the whole head and neck deeply relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relaxing and going deeper, feeling that sensation spreading from the head and the neck to the shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, hands, back of the hands, knuckles, fingers, tips of the fingers, palms, sinking even deeper. And your next breath in, feeling the chest constrict ever so slightly on the inhale. And in the exhale, feeling the relaxation spreading even deeper. Chest, upper back, pelvic, abdomen, mid-back, pelvic floor, lower back, feeling it move, glutes, hips, thighs, knees, calves, and shins, ankles, balls of the feet, arches of the feet, toes and tips of the toes, the whole body becoming deeply relaxed, aware of the heartbeat, the sounds and sensations, both internally and externally. And taking that deep breath, on the exhale, allow yourself to picture, imagine, or remember an experience of sitting in a library. Everyone's had it at some point in their life. When you see that image in your mind's eye, gently begin to just kind of walk down the first aisle of books that you see. And when you're towards the end of the book shelf, stop, turn to the right, gently reach out and grab the first book that you see. And then in a moment when you prepare to open it, let me tell you about this book. It holds all the positive experiences of your childhood. Everything uplifting, everything exciting, the sense of adventure, and you'll see pictures and images and experiences from that time. So you can go ahead, open that, remembering and seeing those things again. Just allow the first image to come, and then the next. seeing all those experiences. You know, when you're a child, things can be very exciting. It doesn't take a lot to have an adventure because everything's kind of filled the world with wonder. So now when you're ready, you can close that book, put it back on the shelf, remembering that sensation, that excitement, that feeling of adventure, kind of bringing that back. And then take a deep breath in. And in your mind, just begin to count back with me. We're going to go from 10 down, 10. Just allow yourself to sink into this. Go back to the body and the breath. 8, 7, going even deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now allow yourself to picture or imagine something that you've been wanting to do, something you would like to do, or perhaps something you would desire to achieve. And if it's a state of being, envision what that looks like, what you are doing or being in that moment. And then remember that experience from the childhood, all the adventure, the excitement. Allow some of that to be in with this as well. And allowing yourself to begin to come back, feeling that excitement, that drive, reconnecting with it. And seeing how that interaction changes with you and you being a different person, even if it's an external goal. Your interactions with other people, everything's shifting and changing. Then taking another deep breath, allowing yourself to slowly come back to this time and space. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I count to 5, you can begin to open your eyes. So beginning this process, 1, beginning to deepen those inhales and exhales. And on the inhales, you feel more alert. The exhales, you feel more grounded. Two, beginning to feel some warmth in the chest. Perhaps it begins to spread through the body. Three, perhaps you begin to feel that warmth spreading to the arms and the legs, and you can wiggle the fingers and the toes if you would like. Four, beginning to shrug the shoulders, move the neck, just bring a little sensation back to the body. Maybe do a slight twist. And five, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes, taking your time here. Everyone okay? All right. I want to ask everyone first if there was any experiences, but before I do that, just kind of, well, I'll share it at the end. Anyhow, anyone have anything that they would like to share? Anything that kind of stood out to them? Anyone have like a really awesome childhood memory or experience that popped up?
You said to go into the library. I went into my childhood library originally.
Yeah, so did I. It's
Yeah.
funny.
And so like that was really cool.
Mhm.
So I haven't been back there in a long time.
Yeah. It's always, that's a cool thing, I think, too, because then your subconscious is already kind of going that direction.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Just to kind of go with the library bit. So in the library, like my brain couldn't decide which library it wanted to be in, so it seems to morph between every library I've ever been in throughout them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've noticed that with people, like you ask them to associate an image, and it usually goes one or two ways. Either the representation that comes into their mind is like an amalgamation of so many different kinds of that experience, or it's their earliest childhood memory of that, whatever that thing is. So it's very interesting how our mind works in that regard.
I also went to at least 5 different libraries. I was like, do I want this one or this one?
That one, it's interesting to me because I go back and forth between at least two. One was one of my 2 childhood libraries I had. There was the main library in our town, but then in our library district, the next town over had a nicer library, but it was very small, but it had, I remember it was like, it had all the Pokemon movies, comics, everything. And you know, when you're 7 and you're like, and for some reason our library had nothing. It was like, and so I remember I was like, I don't even know what happens next with, how's Ash gonna tame Charizard? I'll never know. And then when I lived, we moved back to Arizona. We lived in Gilbert for a short period of time, and then we were at the Southeast Regional Library, and that place has looked identical. It's still, you know, almost 20 years, it looks exactly the same. You walk in there, it's got these long aisles in the middle, you know, so that always kind of pops up. Anyhow, anything else? Anyone else? So, oh no, sorry, I thought I saw a hand out of the corner of my eye. 2 things I just want to share here at the end. One is a poem, comes from Goethe, the German poet, and it's always interesting to me, people who really get into Nietzsche, the philosopher, they talk a lot about him, but then what's interesting is they usually, I've noticed, don't spend a lot of time learning anything about Goethe, which is funny because Nietzsche had a lot of philosophy, and then at the end of it, he would always say, and I think Goethe came the closest to it, like embodying it, which is kind of an interesting thing, because I was always like, so what is this guy like? And for the most part, his life was pretty, we don't know a lot about him in the English-speaking world. Maybe if you read Faust in high school or something, you learned a little bit about him. But in his lifetime, very accomplished person. He was a playwright, he was a poet, and then he got hired by the local duchy he was in to work in their accounting area. And he did the job really well. He got into music. He did a whole theory of color that competed for a long time with Isaac Newton's theory. So the idea was, it's just someone who is very engaged with their life, and they've gone on to do multiple things with their life. But Goethe kind of had this poem, which I thought kind of emphasized this a little bit. And it talks about all force strives forward to work far and wide, to live and grow and ever to expand. Yet we are checked and thwarted on each side by the world's flux and swept along like sand. In this internal storm and outward tide, we hear a promise hard to understand. From the compulsion that all creatures binds, who overcomes themselves their freedom finds. And so, it's this idea again of we focus on the internal practices, but going forward, I hope that all of you kind of have this opportunity. I will just say, it was fascinating. Everyone got really quiet at the library scene, and when I asked you to think about, as an adult now, this experience that you want to have or this thing you want to achieve, almost the entire room, everyone moved or shifted. Not quite everyone, but I heard almost everyone kind of, twist, move. It's like, oh, it's interesting. There's discomfort there. So always a good idea, reassess, do I really care about that goal, right? Or is that just something I've been telling myself I should be doing? So nothing wrong with setting things up. Of course, who am I as a hypnotist to tell you shouldn't want to do something? If you really want to, come and see me, we can work through it. But, always kind of be honest with yourself about that too, right? So anyway, I hope you guys all have a great experience. And yeah. Oh, announcements. I should probably do that. I'm looking to Wendy because, Melissa and I will normally look at each other. So you've now taken on me. And I look to you to remember what's going on. Thanks. Improv class is full this Saturday. Kids yoga, we have it this Saturday. I believe Amanda's going to be doing a slight 4th of July theme.
Neurographic art.
Yeah, neurographic art this Sunday. Thank you. Wendy, do you know how much that is?
I think it's 35. I think it's 35.
Yeah, I'm closer to a calendar, or maybe not. Maybe you are. And we're back, folks. 45. Okay, yes, 45. And Maria's done that before. It's from 1 to 3 on Sunday. It's a really cool experience because there's studies that they did in Russia with a team of neurologists, and so there's specific ways that you can draw and paint that actually help reduce stress and help you with developing creativity. So they use it now as a therapeutic approach. She'll be doing a workshop on that this Sunday.
You don't need to be an artist at all.
Oh yes, I've taken it many times if you need proof of that. And I definitely don't know what I'm doing. And so ironically, the less of an artistic background you have, probably the better. One of my stepbrothers he's a very big postmodernist painter, which you would think would be easy for him to then do this, but he went to go take this class, and because it's a different brushstroke, he's like, and so, but if you're an artist too, great, you can still come. Just let go of whatever you think was going to happen, trust me. And then next Saturday, we've got hiking club. We're going to the Salt River. So I do need a solid head count on that by Thursday of next week. So if you're interested, sign up now. And for this one, you do need to have your own equipment, paddleboard or kayak, things of that nature, inflatable. Hopefully, though, we'll go get an early enough start. I believe, what did I put down? Yes, 6 a.m. So it's going to be great, though. We're going to get a first.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
Is it necessary
Paul.
to know how to swim?
Well,
Why
well, you know, we'll just understand that when we arrive there, I have release forms I'm going to have everyone be signing. Why are you laughing? I'm dead serious. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I am. But I would say if you've never gone to the river before, maybe hold off this time. But the Canyon Lakes, is Canyon Lake still open? Did they drain it already?
Not till
Not yet.
fall.
That's a September.
Okay. So you
Don't
still.
forget to buy a Tonto pass if you.
Oh yes. Tonto. I mean,
Buy them when you get there, but it's $12 versus I think it's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Circle K.
I think it's 8 now.
8, yeah.
Right, Maddie? 8 now? Yeah. So it's 8, but the year-round pass is really good too. I think it's like 120, 150, which sounds like a lot, but if you go more than 5 or 6 times, it starts to pay for itself. And then I was the late one to find out about the National Park Pass covers all the national parks and Tonto National Forest, all the
Yeah,
forests.
the America the Beautiful pass.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Make a copy of it and put it in your windshield because it will melt.
Oh, okay. So there.
Online?
And if you're a veteran, you can get it free.
Yeah.
Forest Service.
Yeah.
It's in Mesa.
Yeah. Well, although the Mesa location, I've been there. I think you have to ask specifically for the America Beautiful Pass, because otherwise you just get the Tonto Pass. Maybe they get it. I don't know.
Oh, they're super friendly. They'll
Yeah.
explain everything. It'll take an hour.
They really want to
Yeah.
Like, oh, someone's here to see me. Yeah.
And Nancy is doing a special full moon sound bath on the 29th. That's toward the end of this month. So, that's a Wednesday night, 6:30 in the evening. And Kelly's doing periodic Ashtanga yoga pop-up classes every 3 weeks for the next couple weeks. So if you wanted to try the primary series, this is the time. All right, I think that's it. I hope you guys all have a great week. Melissa will be back next week, and I, have an opportunity to reevaluate, think about our goals, expectations. So, see you all next week.
Thank you, Quint.
Thank you.
Quentin.
Oh, thanks.